All right, here we go. We're going to start this video off the same way we start every video off, and that is, unfortunately, super cringe because I don't know how else to be. Put your hand in the air if you are ready for some fun data. My hand is in the air because I am ready for fun data. I have some fun data for you, and I'm going to give that to you in just a moment here. But first, we have to give away this exclusive Pikachu ukulele. I believe it is pronounced ukulele. That's how I remember being told down in Hawaii. I always used to say ukulele, but I'm pretty sure that it's ukulele. We are giving this away to one lucky subscriber, and that lucky subscriber is Fizz Solo. Fizz Solo, congratulations. You are the winner of a Pikachu ukulele, the exclusive one. I just need you to email me your details, confirm your YouTube channel, your shipping address. You can find me on Instagram at danny.phantump, or you can just email me dannyphantumcontent@gmail.com. dannyphantumcontent@gmail.com. The links are in the description down below. But congratulations, Fizzolo, you are the winner of the exclusive Pikachu ukulele. If you didn't win, there's another banger giveaway that's going to be coming up soon for one lucky subscriber. As we get closer and closer to Surging Sparks and they start releasing more and more card scans, it's going to become a lot more difficult to give away our next master set. Every single new set release, we give away a master set, the Fan Clan master set. So we're going to give one lucky subscriber the Surging Sparks master set. As soon as that releases, we are less than a month away from release day. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Spank that subscribe button. Do people say that? Nobody says that. I'm just going to say, just give it a poke. Poke that subscribe button, and we will give that away next month. It's going to be slapping. Okay, I'm going to stop being super cringe, and we're going to talk about this super fun data that I promised you. Last week, I recorded a couple videos, one of them going over the best set to open from Scarlet and Violet, and we kind of broke down illustration rares and what set produced the highest value when it comes to opening up Pokemon cards. Let's face it, opening up Pokemon cards is a lot of fun. It's something that's very enjoyable, but it's also very dangerous, right? Because every single booster pack, it's a blind bag. You have no idea what's inside, but there is a cost that's associated with opening up that booster pack, and it's typically a cost of around $4. You can go to the store, you can buy a booster pack from Target or from Walmart. You know, you pay $4.50 with tax, or you can buy a booster box and you probably get a much better per pack price. And your goal as a collector, or as somebody who enjoys opening up Pokemon cards, you degenerates, you want to bring that pack price down as low as you possibly can. And there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can either buy in bulk, or you can try opening up the sets that produce the best value as far as return goes when it comes to opening up Pokemon cards. So that's what we tried to uncover when it came to the illustration rare data that we shared last week. We also recorded a video on why Shrouded Fable might be a little bit of a sleeper set, a little bit better than what you originally anticipated, because there is value. So we're going to kind of carry off of that video, and we're going to talk about the best specialty set to open in the Scarlet and Violet era, but it's going to be all the data that you could possibly need. It's going to break down everything, and why Scarlet and Violet 151 is the worst possible set that you could open when it comes to getting the best bang for your buck. So I'm going to flip you around so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. These are Shrouded Fable pull rates right here, and we're going to gloss over this really quickly because we just did an entire video on it, so I don't want to waste too much of your time. The big thing when it comes to opening up Pokemon cards is finding sets where you can get the most value out of those ancillary cards. So we talked about this a little while ago in a different video, but obviously special illustration rares, chase cards, things like that, you want to hunt for those. That's a lot of fun, right? But they're difficult to pull for a reason. You want to find the cards that have higher pull rates, easier to pull, but also have a little bit of value associated with them. So we're talking about like regular art EXs, those double rares that are in the set, and then lower rarity stuff that might be competitive, like trainer cards, or maybe a good holographic card that sees a lot of play. Now, holographic rares are completely different now in the Scarlet and Violet generation than what they were in the past, because you get a holographic rare in every single booster pack, and because of that, they haven't really increased the amount of holographic rares that are in a set, so they're really easy to pull. So you're probably going to have more holographic rares than you will like a common or an uncommon in most cases. So this is Shrouded Fable right here, and like I said, we're going to gloss over this really quickly. The best card that you can possibly pull in Shrouded Fable when it comes to that double rare category is Pheasantipity, which is selling for about $10 right now, and will continue to sell for around that price point for a long time. This is a very splashable card. It's very playable in a lot of decks. I'm sure that this weekend is the Louisville regional tournament reprint. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Fezzendipities that are out and about. It's going to be in top 8. It's going to have multiple copies spread throughout the field because it is such a playable card. When it comes to the A-Specs, there's nothing really worth noting in Shrouded Fable at all. They are all basically selling for $1. Now, A-Specs are fairly easy to pull, but the only one that really has a ton of value associated with it is the Prime Catcher. And again, that is getting reprinted next month in that Charizard Battle Deck, so that value is going to it's going to fall considerably. Otherwise, you might get a little bit out of your Unfair Stamp, Scramble Switch when that comes out in Surging Sparks. That should do okay, but for the most part, A-Specs are very easy to pull, and because of that, their values are going to be fairly small. When it comes to the illustration rares, this is the set. Shrouded Fable is the set that produces the highest value return when it comes to your illustration rares that you pull. Now, pull rates are not great, but they are very similar when it comes to the illustration rare category. So yes, it may be a little bit more difficult to pull a special illustration rare or a hyper rare in Shrouded Fable as opposed to like Paradox Rift. However, when it comes to illustration rares, you're basically going to get just under 3 per booster box sample size. So every 36 packs that you open up, you should get about 3 illustration rares. Now, some of them are as high as this Duskull right here at $25 or the Dusknoir right here at $28. Again, a very playable card, this Dusknoir, Duskull, Dusclops line. Very playable card in competitive Pokemon right now, which is why these cards are a little bit more expensive. But then you also have some cards that aren't really competitive right now that are just really appreciated and in demand because of their artwork, like the Houndoom right here, like the Persian, which is still doing extremely well, sitting there at $23. And then you have a bunch of other cards which are kind of middle of the road, selling for around double digits, like the Monkey Dory, which is selling for $12. The Cresselia is at $10. The Horsea is at $10. And then you have some cards that are a little bit lower, but still higher than, you know, bulk illustration rares would go for, which is $1, $2, somewhere around there. You have Fezandipity at $5, Okidogi at $5, you have Beware at $5. So illustration rares really where it's at when it comes to Shrouded Fable. You also have some really strong hyper rare performances, like the Petrarunt right here at $23 is really strong for a gold card. We don't have that for a whole lot of other sets, but that's because a lot of people aren't opening up a ton of Shrouded Fable because they don't like it as much as what they like other sets, right? It is kind of a miss, and a lot of people are kind of holding off for these sets that are coming out in the future. Earthen Vessel, which is an extremely playable card, is doing outstanding right now in the market, selling for $61 currently. That's one of the more expensive gold cards we have seen come across. Power Glass is at $16, and then those energy cards right there, which never do well, especially in the Scarlet and Violet block, are holding on extremely strong. Darkness Energy at $27, Metal Energy at $23, doing extremely well for the hyper rare category. Your special illustration rares, all doing very well with the exception of really Monkey Dory, which is the only one that's below $20 right now. That one's selling for $17. Your Okidogi's at $24. Your Petrarunt is at $26. You have $57 for that Fezandipity. Now again, that's because that is really playable, and the Cassiopeia is still selling for about $50, which is really strong as well. When it comes to the full arts, don't even really worry about it. It's really just the Fezandipity again. That one's selling for $15. You have a few that are sitting there at $3, and then the Colress's Tenacity, which is selling for $5. But if we average everything out and base it off of pull rates, and this is the data that we talked about the other day, finding out the fun cost and calculating the fun cost to determine how much money you are expected to lose when it comes to opening up Pokemon cards is something that I really like to look at before I start ripping packs, because you want to lose the least amount of money that you possibly can. Obviously, it's fun to open up Pokemon cards, but you should never go into it thinking that you're going to turn a profit. It's just not going to happen. Every once in a while, you might get super lucky and you might pull that Moonbreon, but if you open up and crack 10 Evolving Skies packs, you're probably just going to be out $120 because it's not going to go very well. So opening up Pokemon cards meant to be fun, but ultimately don't chase after your chase. Like it's not going to go well for anybody. Pull rates, again, very, very similar. If you add everything up here, you're going to get about $93.40 worth of value out of your 36 packs of Shrouded Fable. So we base everything off of a booster box sample size. You open up 36 packs of Shrouded Fable, you should get about $93.40 worth of value. Now, the great thing about Shrouded Fable is there are some ancillary cards, which is unlike these other couple sets that we're going to look at, that do have a little bit of value associated with them. So Night Stretcher sells between $1 and $2 right now per copy, depending on what you pull. Not a ton of trainers in this set, so you're going to pull more Night Stretchers than what you normally pull in a specialty set, in a normal set. So you get a reverse hall, you might be able to sell it for $1.50 or $2. You get a regular copy, you might be able to sell it for $1. $1.50. The Dusknoir, again, we talked about this before. Holo rares don't typically do too well, but again, that just goes to show you how little Shrouded Fable is being opened and how popular Dusknoir is as a competitive card. Dusknoir right now selling for about $1, and then those reverse holo energy patterns selling for about 50 cents to $1 each, so you have a little bit of value in those as well. So that means your ancillary value is going to add about $10 to your total value when you open up your booster box sample size. So that means in total, you're looking at about $103.40 out of value out of your 36-pack sample size of Shrouded Fable. Your target pack price, $2.87. Gonna be tough to find booster packs of Shrouded Fable for $2.87, but I have seen them go for $3.25, somewhere around there. So if you're just looking to open some packs and have some fun, it's not that bad. If you look at the fun cost right here, and this is just broken down based off of prices that I found on TCG Player, you probably can find them even cheaper than this. If you buy 4 ETBs, you're looking at about $126 worth of cost right there. If you buy 6 booster bundles, you're looking at about $123 worth of cost right there. 36 loose packs on TCG Player, you're looking at about $125 of cost right there. If you subtract your value from that, your fun cost is only about $20. Now, can you have $20 worth of fun opening up Shrouded Fable? That's up to you to decide, unfortunately. I think so. Shrouded Fable is a pretty good set. You can crack some packs, and you don't lose as much value when it comes to opening it, unlike Scarlet and Violet 151, which is a nightmare. And the reason it's a nightmare is because I'm going to add a caveat to this right away, because it's so difficult to find anywhere at MSRP. Now, you might be able to catch a restock. There were restocks recently on the Pokemon Center website, on Amazon when it came to booster bundles. Every once in a while, you'll see a restock at a big box store online for MSRP for a booster bundle, but those go super fast. And unfortunately, the restocks that a lot of LGSs and online stores are getting right now are marked up at distribution, marked up at wholesale, and you're looking at market price pretty much across the board, even from wholesale distributors. And what that means is that price point for booster packs of Scarlet and Violet 151 is just going to trickle up and up unless there's a massive reprint that comes anytime soon. I've not heard any news about a massive reprint of 151 coming. We've seen smaller restocks hit, but unfortunately that price point is just going to keep going up because market price is already being driven higher and higher just at distribution. So then for an LGS to be able to make any sort of profit whatsoever, they have to mark it up higher than market price because they're getting charged market. It's just a mess. It is just a mess. But people love opening Scarlet and Violet 151. Hopefully this gives you some idea of why it might not be the best idea right now. So if we look at double rares, pretty much everything running at bulk prices right now, with the exception of the Charizard EX, because it's Charizard, not for any other reason, selling for about $5. You have $3 for the Blastoise, again, because it's Blastoise, not for any other reason. The Mew EX selling for $6 because it is so competitive. So that one does have a reason associated with it as to why it's the most expensive of the double rare category. But other than that, there's nothing. It's just all bulk prices. If we look at the illustration rares, these continue to climb, which makes people FOMO, which makes people make bad decisions. So let's look at the numbers before we make any bad decisions when it comes to our collection budget right here. So illustration rares continuing to rise higher and higher. Now, there's a lot of them that have already been cracked. Scarlet and Violet 151 is a very popular set. You look at the pop report numbers, obviously demand is probably higher for this set than any other Scarlet and Violet set, and probably any other set than we've had for quite some time other than maybe Evolving Skies. Scarlet and Violet 151 is a fan favorite for a lot of people because you have the OG people, you have the nostalgic people, you have all those people who probably don't even collect master sets, who are kind of coming back and maybe dipping their toes into Scarlet and Violet 151 just because it triggers all those memories and it's a lot of fun to open. But if we look at the price points here, a lot of them doing extremely well, like the Charmander selling for $37, the Charmeleon's at $27, you've got the Bulbasaur and the Ivysaur, which are $27 and $23 respectively, Squirtle's up to $35, the Wartortle's at $20, the Pikachu's at $21, and even the Dragonair has moved up another level, sitting at $24 right now. Everything else for the most part is at single digits, with the exception of Psyduck at $12 and Poliwhirl at $14. But you've got your lowest one right now is Ammonite at $5, and then you've got $6 on the Tangela, $6 on the Mr. Mime, $9 on the Machoke, $8 on the Nidoking, and $8 on the Caterpie. So illustration rare is doing extremely well. Again, same pull rates as what we saw with Shrouded Fable. You're getting about 3 per booster box, so 3 for every 36-pack sample size. Now, obviously, there is no booster box for these specialty sets, but you buy 4 ETBs, you should get 3 illustration rares. I know it's not fun to only get 3, but that's their pull rates for a reason. If we look at the double rare category up here, or the ultra rare category up here, some of them doing very, very well. Now, again, full arts don't typically do too well. We just looked at Shrouded Fable. Everything's doing poorly with the exception of Pheasantipity because it is so playable. The only card in in Scarlet and Violet 151 that has really any playability associated with it is that Mew EX. Everything else, very much just a collector card. Venusaur EX still doing well at 15. Charizard EX full art at 36. You've got the Blastoise EX at 17. The Ninetales EX is at 14. We've got $12 on the Zapdos, $16 on the Mew, and again, that's the one that's really driven up a little bit because of the competitive playability. Everything else is really just collector driven, which is why we see some of these higher prices right here. If we look at the special illustration rares, again, some of these going nuts. That Charizard has taken another step up. This was almost a sub $100 card about 6-7 months ago, and it continues to climb higher and higher. You can see it's at $152 right now. $50 for the Venusaur EX, $53 for the Blastoise, Alakazam EX sitting there at 31, Zapdos EX at 43, Erica's Invitation sitting at 15, and Giovanni's Charisma sitting at 11. I guess Giovanni's Charisma, you could make the argument that that's a playable card. It has done fairly well, especially at Worlds. That could be driving the price a little bit, but for the most part, very collector driven, and the proof is in the pudding right here with the hyper rares. You've got Mew EX at $7, Switch at $3, and Psychic Energy at $5. Very cheap when it comes to the hyper rares, and that just goes to show you the supply that's already out there based off of the demand of those cards. The Psychic Energy, for example, only selling for about $5. We just looked at Shrouded Fable, where you've got Metal Energy and Darkness Energy selling for mid-20s, which is absolutely insane. If we break everything down, now obviously your average per booster box is going to be much, much higher. You've got about $14.09 worth of value just out of the double rares. Your ultra rare category, you're getting about $24.25 worth of value if you open up a booster box sample size. Your illustration rares, you're looking at about $48 worth of value out of your 36-pack sample size for illustration rares when it comes to Scarlet and Violet 151. Special illustration rares, $55.03, and hyper rares, you're looking at about $3.72 worth of value. Now, your average hits per ETB, about 2.98. Your average value per booster box sample size, about $145.10. So much higher when it comes to value for Scarlet and Violet 151 than what we saw from Shrouded Fable, right? Shrouded Fable was only about $93. Fanny, what are you talking about? This is $145. Your ancillary value, worse for 151. There's no commons, uncommons, anything like that. You could make the argument for grabber, but for the most part, everything else, very cheap, not really impacted by competitive play. Your total value per booster box, you're looking at about $150 worth of value every time you open up 36 packs of Scarlet and Violet 151. The problem is the cost. The cost is insane. So these are, again, our numbers pulled off of TCG Player. And if we don't get a massive restock or a massive reprint of 151, like I said, these prices are going to stay the same or they're going to continue to climb. And this is why it doesn't make sense to open it up right now. Your cost of booster box via packs, if you just go out and buy 36 packs on TCG Player, the lowest listed right now is $7.47. That means opening up a booster box worth of packs is going to cost you about $269 to open up 36 Scarlet and Violet 151 packs. Well, you're only pulling $150 out of it. So that means your fun cost for opening up Scarlet and Violet 151, $118.82. Now, are you more likely to have $20 worth of fun opening up 36 packs of Shrouded Fable, or $119 worth of fun opening up Scarlet and Violet 151? Obviously, that choice is up to you, but your target pack price on this is about $4.17. Obviously, very, very difficult to find packs for $4.17 unless you can find them at MSRP for booster bundles. If you can find them at MSRP for booster bundles, buy it, open it, have fun, enjoy it. It's definitely worth it. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, that's not the case. So if you can't buy it at MSRP, either A, don't buy it, or B, don't open it, because there's better sets that you can open where you can get your value back a little bit better. So Scarlet and Violet 151, obviously, for a lot of people, a lot more fun to open, but it's going to cost significantly more when it comes to your return value. Now, it's up to you to depend on what the chase is worth to you, what cards you're looking to pull, what that's worth to you, but obviously, just want to provide this information so you have it. The last specialty set that we have is Paldean Fates. This one kind of all over the place, because there's just so many cards in this set. There's so many baby shinies. This took a long time to put together. When it comes to your double rare category, everything is bulk, except for the Charizard EX. Now, the Charizard EX is very playable, but it's been printed a million times. It was printed in Paldean Fates. It's coming in a battle deck. It was printed in Obsidian Flames. Then obviously they had the tin from Paldean Fates, which also has a full art shiny copy. There's so many copies of it out there, which really brings down the price point, brings down the value considerably. So that's the only one worth about $3. When it comes to your illustration rares, there's only 3 in the set. set, and they didn't change pull rates for illustration rares, so these are very easy to pull. 1 out of every 12 packs, meaning you're going to pull all 3. You open up a booster box, you're going to pull 36 packs of Paldean Fates, a booster box sample size, you're going to pull all 3 of them. Ultra rares, again, very, very cheap. Paldean Student, Nemona, they didn't change pull rates on these, but there's only 5 of them in the set, so they're going to be pretty easy to pull. You're looking at bulk pricing basically for every single one. When we look at the baby shinies, these are the values that have been going all over the place, and I'm not going to go through all of these because that would make this video way too long, and it probably already is too long. You're probably sick of listening to me. So we're just going to put out the information for the higher priced ones, like the Charmander right here. Still selling for about $21, doing extremely well. Same thing with the Charmeleon. That one's at $17 currently. You've got $8 on the Entei over there. The Pikachu is coming in at $32. The Raichu currently sitting at $7. If we go over to this column over here, your Snorlax is doing really well. That one's currently selling for $12. The Pidgey has fallen quite a bit. That one's down to $9. But if you've noticed, the Obsidian Flames illustration rare Pidgey has started to take off a little bit more, so maybe there's some transitioning to what people have a preference as far as playing goes. You've got $5 on the Scizor over there. For the most part, everything else is only going to be $4, $5, $6 or even less than that. You've got $10 on the Mimikyu over here. There's only about a handful of them that are selling for double digits as far as pricing goes. Everything else is relatively cheap. It's just pull rates really help with this set because you have so many different rarity categories. There's a lot of different rarity categories that you can pull from. When it comes to the full art shinies over here, pretty much everything bulk pricing with only the exception of a few. That Mew EX, again, a very playable card, but there's so many copies of it out there. That one's selling for $10. Gardevoir EX currently at $3, and the Pidgeot EX, obviously because of its playability, currently selling for $8. So those are the 3 that are doing fairly well, obviously better than bulk pricing. Your special illustration rares at the top are still very consistent. $93 for the Mew EX. That's actually up a little bit from where it was about a month ago, 2 months ago. It came out of the gates around $80 after its initial drop, and it's gone up a little bit since then. So sitting at $93 right now. The Gardevoir EX continues to do okay. That one's at $40. You've got $105 on the Charizard EX, and the Clive has actually is no longer the cheapest one. That one is currently $7 as opposed to the Nemona, which has fallen to the cheapest of the bunch at $5. You've got $22 on the Iono, $11 on the Arven, and $9 on the special illustration rare Penny. So if we break all this down and figure out your average on this one, when it comes to double rares, you open up 36 packs of Paldean Fates, you're going to pull about $10.57 worth of value. Illustration rares, you've got $2.71 worth of value out of your booster box sample size. Ultra rares, you got about $5.39 worth of value. Baby shinies, you get about $36.45 based off of your value when it comes to your Elite Trainer box. Your average value on those is about $3.79, and you're going to be pulling almost 10 of them per booster box, which is actually kind of fun. Your full art shinies, you're looking at about $8.65 worth of value. Hyper rares, about $4.26, and then your average value for your special illustration rares, about $28.57. So if we add all that up, your expected booster box value is about $96.60. That's what you're expected to pull out of your booster box sample size of Paldean Fates. So a little bit better than Shrouded Fable, a lot of bit worse than Scarlet and Violet 151. Not a whole lot of value when it comes to the ancillary value. You could make an argument for Nest Ball, but you're only getting about a quarter per Nest Ball. You can make an argument about Iono, but again, you're only getting about a quarter right now for Iono because those have been printed so many times. Your fun cost via Elite Trainer boxes, you can go out, you can buy 4 Elite Trainer boxes on TCG Player. They're currently selling for about $40 a piece. Your fun cost about $63.40. So if you open up 4 Elite Trainer boxes, you're going to be losing about $63.40. If you open up 36 loose packs, you're going to be spending about $4.80 per pack. You're going to be losing about $76.20. And your fun cost per booster bundle, $27.65 is about the breakdown of booster bundles right now. So basically MSRP, $69.30 is how much you're going to lose opening up 36 packs of Paldean Fates. So you're ultimately the best fun cost when it comes to bang for your buck is Shrouded Fable. The second best is going to be Paldean Fates. You're still going to lose money, but you're going to lose less money than 151, where you're expected to lose over $100, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, the more expensive the set gets, the more difficult it is to pull. So once you open up something, it no longer, you can go go from open to sealed. Like, it just doesn't work that way. So unfortunately, you open something up and it can never be sealed again, and you're just looking at the value inside of the actual packaging itself. So Scarlet and Violet 151, not really recommend opening unless you can find it for MSRP. If you can find it for MSRP, go nuts. Like, then it's totally worth it. Paldean Fates, you definitely want to find some better deals than TCG Player. Cheaper than $40 per Elite Trainer box, cheaper than $4.80 per pack, and cheaper than $27.65 per booster bundle. If you can find booster bundles for like $20, then it's probably closer to worth it. Shrouded Fable, not too bad as far as the pricing goes right now, but that's the breakdown that I wanted to share with everybody. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to open up some of those products that are a lot more expensive. Obviously, do the best decision for you. This is just information to provide you with, so that way you can make the best decision when it comes to spending your collection dollars. I hope you liked the information. If you did, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a very long way for the algorithm. But ultimately, thank you just for taking the time to listen to me ramble. I love this stuff. I love Pokemon. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I'll be back on Sunday with another video. Until next time, peace.